My name is Ian Fletcher, and
I'm Rylan, and Emmy is behind the camera.
yeah, we're just kind of showing off the board game version of our game we're making, Galactic Heist. The name we're still working on that, but yeah. So this is the board. We're using just some Legos as our pieces for these, and we also have these little gold yellow coin things, which we're using for coins. And yeah, we have some little stat sheets for the players and the boss. And the boss is just over there. The players are going to be one of those. But the players will pretty much always start out with 2 lives, 10 health, 0 attack, and 2 defense. And the boss, its health will scale depending on the number of players. For 1 player, it'll just be 20 health. For 2 players, it'll be 3. For 3 players, it'll be 40, and 4 players will be 50, so it just increases by 10 for the number of players. And then the basic enemies, which are going to be these little guys right here, there's 12 of them. They just have a health of 4, attack of 0, and a defense of 2. And yeah, so we can write on these stat sheets, so I'm just going to write on here as well. Okay. But yeah, we're just going to run through a little 2-player game, just kind of set up for that. I'm just going to grab this little guy, I guess. And if you want to grab one of the other ones, then we can do this. But yeah, so how it works is we will choose our characters, and then we will roll to see who goes first. Whoever gets the highest roll will go first. And then we will also choose where to place these little enemy tokens. They can be placed anywhere around the map. Yeah, here, I'll give you some of them, and we can just kind of go through and choose some spots for these. But there's, again, 12 of them in total. And we also have scattered around the map these little weapons pieces, which are just Legos. Again, we have a sword, a shield, a spear, and an axe. Each one has different modifiers that they will give. The sword will give the player +3 attack and +1 defense. The shield will be +3 defense but +1 attack. The spear is +2 attack and +2 defense. And then the axe is +6 attack but -2 defense. And then we also have these little power-up cards you can collect as you go through it. There's 6 different cards for the player. Yeah, we got med kits, which restore health. And then we have the second chance, which this game is, or our original game is going to be a roguelike. So we want to emulate that in this. So if the player dies, they lose all the power-ups and items, goes back to start. But the second chance just means you just go back to the start. You keep all of your items and weapons. Then we have the health boost, which restores player health by 1 and also increases the total amount of health the player can hold. And then we have the adrenaline, which increases the player's movement speed by 1, so you just add 1 to your dice roll for when you move. Then we have the attack boost, which is just a +1 to your attack always. And then the quick dodge, which is just any 1 turn you can choose to ignore that. And then the quick dodge, the med kit, and the second chance are all discardable cards. You can only use those once. But the adrenaline and the attack boost and the health boost are all permanent. And depending on the number of players, you can only hold a certain number of cards as well. I believe, yeah, so for 1 player, you can hold up to 6 power-ups. For 2 players, it's up to 5, 3 players up to 4, 4 players up to 3, just so that way they scale. And then the boss, every other turn, it also has its own deck of power-up cards. He's only got 3 though. He's got a health boost, an attack boost, and a defense boost. There's much more of the health boost than anything else because I want the boss to be properly scaled. But yeah, so those will just be pulled every other turn and be applied to the boss's stat sheet. And any other changes made to the player stat sheet. But as you go, there's these little enemies scattered around, and as you kill them, you will get 3 coins for killing an enemy. You'll also restore 1 of your health. But damage is done, the player will always go first, no matter what it's attacking. The damage roll is on the stat sheets, but it's just the player's roll plus their attack stat minus the enemy's defense. And then if the enemy's defense is greater than the roll plus the attack, then no damage is done. And then the enemy will attack that same way and just done with the dice roll. But each turn, the player will get 1 movement, 1 attack action. They can take those in whatever order they want. And then at the very end of their turn, if they have enough coins, it's going to be 3 coins. You can change 3 coins for a power up. And then also landing on these little green spaces, the tokens will give you 1 coin. And these little orange spaces, they allow you to move between them. Just get into these little rooms back and forth over here. And yeah, from here we can pretty much start, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned it, but this game is also a co-op game, so you're working
Yes.
together. And the objective, the win condition, is to kill this final boss here. And the lose condition, we wanted it to sort of simulate our roguelike. So it's basically if you run out of lives and if everyone's dead, then the game is over and you've lost. So you want to kind of work together to scale everyone equally, so that everyone sort of has a fighting chance against the final boss. But there are also some mechanics like stealing the final blow of an enemy, which can sort of counteract that if you want to take another player's currency for some reason. But yeah.
And yeah, each player's just got 2 lives, so if you run out of both those, then you are out. And also, I guess I should also mention the boss will only scale when the players are actually fighting him, so that way it doesn't just like progressively just regain more health in the middle of a fight. But if all the players end up getting disengaged with the boss, like they all die and have to run back, then it's fair game. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and just roll these so you can determine who will go first. We're just going to kind of show the first few turns. Roll the 4. So I guess that means I will be going first. But yeah, so I'm just going to, each turn, each of us has an attack and movement. I'm just going to roll to move. I got a 4 again. So I'm just going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. And the players can't move diagonally. So that's another thing you got to take into account when you're moving. And then, yeah, Robin, if you want to go. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and players can occupy the same space. However, they can't occupy the same space as an enemy, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I rolled a 6, so I'm going to go ahead 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to collect this coin and 6. So since I am landed, you can attack an enemy if you're on any of the adjacent spaces. So since I am there, I'm just going to show off how you attack an enemy. So I'm going to go ahead and roll. I rolled a 5, and my attack stat is currently 0. So that means I deal 5, and the enemy has a base defense of 2. So that means it'll take 3 damage and have 1 health left since it's got a maximum health of 4. And then the enemy also gets its turn to attack me, so I'm going to roll again. It rolled a 3 as attack of 0, and I have a defense of 2. So that means I take 1 damage. I'm just going to raise my health there. And I now have 9 health left. And that ends my turn.
Yeah. So do we want to show off the different weapons? And maybe how the power-ups are purchased?
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to take your second turn, then you can also show how the boss gets powered up as well.
So it's been how many turns?
This is turn 2.
Turn
so the boss
2?
gets powered up every other turn.
Okay. So I roll a 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Alright. And then yeah, so since it's the other every other turn, you're gonna pull a boss card. It got an attack boost. So the boss's attack is going to increase by 1. So now it's an attack of 3. And so yeah, again, this will happen every other turn. So it encourages the player to explore the map so they can get stronger, but also make so you do want to get to the boss as soon as you can, so that way you can stop them from getting too incredibly overpowered. Because if you just kind of roam around, you will end up getting absolutely annihilated. Yeah, I'm just going to take my next turn. I'm just going to roll to attack the enemy. I got a 5 again. So plus an attack of 0, minus the enemy defense. That means it is dead. So remove this token from the map. And I get 3 more coins. I'm just going to grab from here. And since I got 3 coins and it's the end of my turn, I can purchase a power up. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those back. And I also got an attack boost. So that just means I will erase my attack stat and add 1 to it. And then, yeah, if you want to go ahead and just kind of show off what happens when you get a weapon as well, or a power up, 1, 2.
Sure. So, I'm 1 off.
That worked out.
But, so do you have to land on the blue space to
Yeah.
pick it up? Okay.
Yeah, so you land on the weapon space and then you'll end your turn there. but just for the sake of showing off, yeah. Yeah, so you got the sword. I'm just gonna do that too, just for
If I can find the sword.
might have to put that down. But yeah, so the sword gives you an attack boost of 3 and a defense boost of 1. I'm just gonna go ahead and change the stats to reflect that. And then just to kind of show, to speed things up, I'm going to just kind of move over here. And so if I were to roll, land on this orange space, I can move between these 2 rooms. And again, just for display purposes, I'm just gonna roll again to grab the shield. So the shield would increase my defense by 3 and attack by 1. So now I have 5 defense and 2 attack, because I still have that attack boost from earlier. And then, yeah, from there, I want to show off the boss fight.
Sure.
Alright. Yeah, so the boss does work the same way as the enemy, so you can only attack it on an adjacent space, and you will still attack first, and since we got those other turns, I am going to give the boss another power-up card, so this time he got an increased health of 5. So that means he's up to 35 health this time. Okay. And yeah, so now we just kind of roll to attack the boss. Yeah, so it's roll plus the attack, minus the enemy's defense. I got a 3. My attack stat is 2. So that's 5, but then the boss's defense is 2. So that means my attack only did 3 damage, meaning he's down to 32 health. Take your turn.
Does the boss attack you?
Oh, right, yes. Almost forgot about that, yeah. The boss attacks me now. I roll a 3, plus its attack of 3, that's 6. But since I grabbed the shield, my defense is 5, so I only take 1 damage from that hit. Okay, and that ends my turn. 5.
So I have a base attack of 3, so 3 plus 5 is 8, minus the boss's defense, which is currently 2, so I'll do 6 damage, and now the boss is at 26.
Yep.
And then the boss will attack me for 2, with a base attack of 3, so that's 5. My defense is only 3, so I'm going to take 2 points of damage.
And just for display purposes, let's say, I don't know, my health is down to like 1 now, and the boss takes his turn, and oh no, he rolled a 6, or rolled a 3 plus his attack of 3, which gets him a 6. My defense is 5, so that means I take 1 hit point of damage, so I'm down to 0. So that means I'm dead. And I lose the shield, it goes back to the shield space. I go back to the start. This gets discarded, and my life count decreases by 1. If my life count decreases to 0, I am out for good. And if everyone's life count decreases, goes down to 0, we are, like, that's game over. I also forgot to mention, but you can only hold 1 weapon at a time, so if you choose to pick up another weapon, you just put it back on its original weapon space, so that way someone else can pick it up. But, just to kind of display what happens now, I'm just going to put my health back up to what it was before. Take this back. But, we say the boss health gets down to, like, 2, so what mine was at before. Roll to attack it. I got 4, attack 2, so that's 6, minus the boss defense of 2, and that means I deal 4 damage, which is more than the boss's remaining health, so it's now at 0 health, and we defeat the boss, we won. And yeah, that is the game.